If you have watched this video regarding the product information file, you know that it is a must-have to sell your product in Europe. But did you know that from 2023 to this day, some serious updates have landed that can make or break your product compliance? Today, I will walk through the biggest 2025 PIF changes, including allergens labeling expansion, reformulation mandates, digital labeling trends to keep your brand safe, smart, and ready for the future. No panic, just facts. Let's get started. This is a big news for the brands. The European Union increased the individual fragrance allergens that you need to label from 26 ingredients to more than 80. This means that your PIF must now include detailed allergen screening results for all your raw materials, including botanical or essential oils. Because yes, even if an ingredient is natural, that doesn't mean that they cannot cause any skin sensitivity. Any allergens that surpasses 0.001% in a leave-on product or 0.01% in a rinse-off product, you must declare this ingredient individually on the product label and keep it documented in your product information file. Heads up, there is a transition timeline because you always have a deadline regarding regulatory compliances. All new products after July 31st, 2026 must be fully compliant with these regulatory changes. And the older ones must be compliant by July 21st, 2028. I assure you that you want your PIF to be updated well before then, because failure to comply means warnings, fines, or even product recalls. And you think that this is just paperwork issues? Wrong. Undisclosed allergen can directly impact your consumers' safety and your brand reputation. Let's talk about something that all cosmetic entrepreneurs must watch like a hawk: ingredients restriction and reformulations. The European Union keeps a constantly evolving list of ingredients that are restricted in their use or banned. Since 2023, multiple ingredient substances have been added to this list, some that you may already use without realizing that they are under new scrutiny. So what kind of ingredients are we talking about here? For example, certain UV filters that are commonly found in sunscreens, an example benzophenone 3 or its nickname oxybenzone, or octocrylene, have recently had usage restriction or ban in some product categories. The ingredient kojic acid, that is kind of famous, right? Used for brightening, evening the skin tone, have now stricter limits and require specific documentation. The vitamin A, retinoids, you know this one, are also limited because they can cause sensitivity and skin irritation. You also have in this list some preservatives and antioxidants that are being phased out or that have new maximum concentration of use. And the last example, nanomaterials. They are more tightly regulated now and required specific safety data to be included in your PIF. So what does it mean for your PIF and your brand? If your formulation already contains some of these restricted ingredients, you cannot just quietly keep selling those products. You must document reformulation in your PIF, and that means showing why the change was made, for example, regulatory update or safety concern, what ingredient is being removed or replaced, a step-by-step reformulation process, and updated safety assessments that reflect the new ingredients and formulation changes. Because of course, safety assessors will want to see your evidence that your new formula meet all the updated safety requirements, including the compliance with the new maximum concentration of ingredient use and that no new risks have been introduced. Why is all this so important? Because selling an out-of-compliance product is not just risky, it's illegal. Period. Now let's talk about labels updates, because no matter how great your formula is, if your consumer is confused because of your labeling, you're setting yourself up for trouble. What does labeling clarity means? The European Union is tightening the requirements regarding labeling to make sure that everything is easy to read, truthful, and transparent for consumers. This means that ingredients must be clearly listed using their INCI names, and allergen must be written in bold letters or the Y highlighted on the packaging. Font size and print quality need to meet minimum standards, so even consumers that have less than perfect eyesight will not be confused. Warning statement and usage restriction must be so obvious that they are not overlooked. So if your product label does not meet those requirements, it can be blocked from sale or recalled. But you may ask, since everything is done digitally nowadays, can we have a digital labeling? Well, the European Union is actively developing rules to allow digital labeling of cosmetic products, called e-labeling. This means that instead of cramming every legally required information on your packaging, brands could have a link that will redirect the consumers to all the ingredients informations, allergen declarations, and even a complete PIF online. What does it mean for you? Well, you need to make sure that your digital information are easily accessible to consumers, but of course also to authority, usually via a QR code or a web link. Your PIF is never finished. It is living, it is a breathing file that you need to regularly audit. For example, whenever you have a new raw material change, if there are any consumer complaints, or if there is a safety incident that occurred, let's hope not, or before any new regulatory deadline. Regulators are stepping up marketing surveillance with surprise audits and tougher fines if your file or labeling doesn't match the reality. You cannot say that you have not been warned. And remember that your PIF protects your consumers, but also your brand. Neglect it and you are gambling with your brand reputation and your business. Finally, the last update regarding your PIF. It's about the responsible person. You probably already know that your PIF must be stored at your responsible person location address in the European Union or at a legal representative location. This physical or digital accessibility is crucial for inspection. A few updates if you are willing to sell across the borders in post-Brexit UK or in Switzerland. Well, the UK now is operating its own cosmetic regulation system. Basically, that means that they require a UK responsible person and they have a separate product notification system for cosmetics that are sold in the UK market. Switzerland too has its own regulatory system, meaning that brands must often appoint different RPs, responsible persons, in each region they sell. For digital sellers or cross-border e-commerce, regulators are increasingly asking for tailored PIF access. This means that your PIF may be accessible very quickly, sometimes in multiple languages, and capable to being submitted electronically on demand. So what's the takeaway of all these changes? Your PIF is more important than ever. Allergen expansion, ingredient bans, digital labeling. This shape the 2025 regulatory landscape. Stay proactive and don't wait the very last minute to comply to any new requirement. Update your PIF annually and screen your ingredients carefully, especially if your formula contains one of the 3 common ingredients that are allergens.